They're not releasing much information because of privacy issues, but the Public Health Department says it's an adult who had an underlying medical condition, and the H1N1 flu complicated those pre-existing conditions. Unless state lawmakers agree this month to either raise taxes or set aside more of the existing tax money for education. Lots of people around the UP have been battling the swine flu lately, especially kids. Residents wanted to make sure he heard their voices. The board voted last night to have the county's civil attorney review the program's origins. Not only did salons up their promotions, they also focused on the consumer's needs, a bargain. But consignment shops aren't the only business that's looking to grab the consumer on a deal. So are local brand name stores. But today it also marks the 70th home Habitat has built in Marquette County. Hotels were able to focus on what would be more appealing to the customer, like bargains on promotions, including destination weddings. With the current economy, many are spending less time eating out and looking more into staying in for dinner.
We're seeing a steady increase in the amount of bulk products that we sell, and we're also seeing that increase in other parts of our store just in relation to cooking in general.
For the Marquette Food Co-op, the demand for bulk food items has increased steadily in recent years, especially this past year. With a variety of items to choose from, the bulk food choices gives consumers the control as to how much or how little they want at a cheaper price.
What most people don't realize is that when you go and buy a product in the store and it has all that bright colored fancy packaging, you're paying for that packaging. But with bulk, I mean, it's pretty generic. You either bring your own container in, or you use one that's provided at the store and you scoop the food into that container. So again, you're doing the labor as far as the packaging.
While bulk food items have increased in demand nationwide, local farmers markets are noticing more people wanting fresh produce at a reasonable price.
People are realizing that there's so much good food that we can grow right here in the Upper Peninsula, and that their money is so much better spent with people in their community, and you can really afford to get a lot of great produce if you come down to the farmers market.
And this trend is growing in parts of the UP as well. Already Gwynn, Negaunee, Scandia, and Munising are holding their own markets for consumers on a budget. By buying from the farmer, the consumer is not only helping their wallets, but also the UP business as well.
Because you're buying directly from the farmer, you're not having to worry about the cost inflation from having that middleman, you know, that the farmer is selling to someone who's then bringing it, a distributor is bringing it to the store, and everyone has to have their cut of the money. You're giving your dollars directly to the person who did the work to grow the food. So you're getting a good price and they're getting a good price.
And as many people continue this budgeting trend, more families are using this as an opportunity to bring back cooking in the kitchen on a budget.
What we're also seeing is a real resurgence in people learning how to cook and digging out those old cooking skills that they have in the back of their mind.
It brings me a lot of satisfaction to see people supporting their local farms, getting a good price for food, and getting to eat the good food once they get home.
In Marquette, UGN News, Christina Kuster. Each painting of Jens Carstensen is a treat for the eye, whether it's the formation of the clouds to the strokes of a red on a barn. It all seems so realistic.
It pretty much boils it down to the essence what the feeling of our space here is, and of the memories.
For over 20 years, Carstensen painted hundreds of images, with each having a different story at a different time in his life.
There was a French painter that once said, I think it was Monet, that said, un paysage, c'est un état d'âme, that a landscape is essentially a state of the soul, you know, that what you're painting is not necessarily what you see, but what you perceive to see.
This is the 6th exhibit for Carstensen at Michigami Moonshine, and each exhibit shows a deeper, bolder side of the artist.
It's just such a treat to see, you know, the confidence and the assuredness with which he is able to capture the beauty of these areas.
He's extremely secure what he is doing just with his colors. His colors become more bolder and the emotions come out.
It's during his travels that Carstensen finds his next picture, and many times a simple sketch will be used at a later time to paint his masterpiece.
This guy, he came and looked at my paintings and he was very interested in a lot of my paintings have roads in them, and he says to me, you know, I'm a psychologist, and I can tell you why you have so many roads in your paintings. And I said to him, before you make a fool of yourself, that's where I sit and paint. I sit and paint by the roadside, so the road is right there.
For some, it's the blending of his colors that gives a more personal connection to the viewer and the artist.
Alizarin crimson is one of those that I can define that will have that impact on me. It's, you know, sometimes you hear a chord in a piece of music and just apart from the whole composition, it just takes you.
But it's not just the color that keeps fans of Carstensen coming back for more. It's a reminder for so many of their own childhood memories.
It may also be a tendency to have a road home, you know, a road back to where you came from.
In Michigami, Christina Kusner, UGN News. The Marquette City Commission revisits a change made a year ago to one of its downtown streets. Main Street was given angled lines for back-in parking, which led to many confused drivers. At tonight's meeting, business owners expressed their desire for the parking spaces to change from reverse-angled to forward-angled. The commission decided to redo the parking lines after the Downtown Development Authority executed a survey and found a majority of responses were in favor of changing the lines and found the current setup confusing. The DDA will cover the cost of repainting the lines, but is unsure of when that will take place, saying it depends on the city's workload. The renewable energy movement is gaining support in the UP, which may lead to a company building wind turbines at K.I. Sawyer. Published reports say a Wisconsin company, the American Wind and Energy Group, is considering several different locations for a wind turbine manufacturing facility. K.I. Sawyer is one of them. Wherever the plant ends up, the turbines would be used to generate electricity. We tried to contact the company's president in Wisconsin to ask him what it is about the Sawyer area that attracts him, but we were unable to reach him by phone. We also tried to contact Telkite, the company in charge of attracting commercial uses to K.I. Sawyer, but their offices were closed today.